Good evening and welcome into our season finale episode of Sports Zone. I'm your host, Justin Ballou. The Mean Green football team has now won 3 straight games after a thrilling 20-17 homecoming victory over UTEP last weekend. UNT will look to make it 4 straight wins this weekend when they travel to FIU. Joining me to preview this Saturday's game are analysts Brendan O'Donnell and Kevin Pacheco. Guys, what a game, what a win this was last weekend for the Mean Green. UNT led 17-7 in that second half before UTEP was able to rally and tie it up. And then what a throw it was. Austin Ani to the freshman DeTravian Brown, 58 yards up the sideline to set up Ethan Mooney for the game-winning field goal. So not a lot of fireworks this season at home for this team at all. This certainly was one of them. So Kevin, how nice was it to get a win on homecoming under such crazy circumstances?
Yeah, it was really nice, especially when you put together 3 games in a row and kind of gives you the chance to fight for a bowl game. I mean, it's going to be really hard to get there, especially with UTSA coming in 2 weeks. But I really like what they did. They ran the ball 49 times, kept the team off the field, especially when I think they're better than UNT, but UNT played the better game.
Yeah, and UTEP, they were 6-3. We finally have a win against a team with a winning record this season, which is great for us because we've looked hungry and hungrier every single week. But now we got that chance to go against a team that really shows how valuable this season has come for us, how good we've become. And I think we're looking at a bowl game if we beat UTSA.
Huge to get a win in homecoming, huge to keep those bowl hopes alive as well with this win. Huge game from Austin Ani, too, in this game. He went 15 of 33, passing for 240 yards and 1 touchdown. He made 3 really big plays in this game. He had a rushing touchdown. He had a 25-yard touchdown pass to Roderick Burns, one of his favorite targets, and, of course, that 58-yard pass to set up the game-winning field goal. So we've been quick to criticize him this season when things have gone wrong, so I think he at least deserves a little bit of credit for this game. Kevin, what did you think of his game, and how much credit does he deserve for that win?
Yeah, as a former minor league quarterback, you expect him to have a big arm. So when you have a big arm quarterback, you want to use your fast receivers, chunk it down the field, and that's exactly what they did with Brown and Burns. They got those big plays going with the run game. Everything looked really good, and Austin Ani was used to his potential.
And we know that Austin Ani loves to take those Welcome back into Sports Zone. The Dallas Cowboys bounced back in a big way last weekend, blowing out the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 43-3. This weekend, the Cowboys will hit the road for a huge matchup in Kansas City against the Chiefs. Now, joining me to break down this Sunday's game are analysts Garrett Stringfellow and Nicholas Ogele. Guys, huge win last week for the Dallas Cowboys. Huge performance from this offense. 29 points they scored just in the second quarter alone. Obviously 43 for the game. Great performance from this defense as well. 3 takeaways, including another interception from Trayvon Diggs.
Yes, sir.
Nicholas, give me some takeaways from this game.
I'm more than happy to. This might be my bias coming out, but they got back on track for sure. It was the Falcons and everything, but like that was a get right game for them. Coming off that Broncos loss, everybody expected it to be a high-scoring affair. It was, but only from one team. You know, Dak got back comfortable. He looked more than healthy and everything. And, you know, when CeeDee Lamb is doing these things we see right there in the end zone, then that would be a good game for the Cowboys.
Takeaways, Garrett?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game in the sense that it was a big win points-wise, but was it a big game? I mean, they're playing the Falcons. You're playing Matt Ryan. You're playing the Falcons defense. Like, I mean, that's a game that you should win as we look at Dak muscling into the end zone there. And Dak looked impressive. I mean, 24 of 31, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, it doesn't look like that calf injury is bothering him after all. And, you know, I think it was a good bounce-back game, but all in all, a game that they really should have won.
I felt like there was a but in there, but I heard nothing but positives. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
We'll take this for what it's worth given the score of that Denver Broncos game, but the Cowboys have only allowed 3 points in the last 6 quarters of action. Now, Nicholas, how about this Dallas defense? How good have they been doing right now? That's crazy.
How about it? I know we were worried, or I was worried. I won't speak for everybody when we lost Randy Gregory a week or 2 ago, but now we have DeMarcus Lawrence coming back. I don't know if he'll be back this game. I think he'll be back soon. That rush, Michael Parsons, you might as well put the crown on his head. Defensive rookie of the year at least. He's looking nice. Our defense looks stellar. It is the Falcons again. I can't say that enough, but I think we'll be fine.
Well, there were a ton of questions after the Cowboys had lost to the Broncos about whether or not Dak Prescott was healthy enough to be playing that game. The previous week against Minnesota, they had kept him out with that calf injury. Cooper Rush had started, got the win, played pretty well. And they started Dak against the Broncos, and everything just seemed to go wrong for this team. He comes out against the Falcons, goes 24 of 31 for 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. So big bounce-back game out of him as well. So, Garrett, how big of it for Dak was it just to have a big game like this, bounce back, and maybe silence some of those injury talks?
Yeah, well, I think there was a lot of people saying, oh, we should have kept Cooper Rush in. No, I'm just kidding. Of course not. But it was a big game for Dak. I mean, you know, some of the accuracy issues are still there. You can tell that, you know, planting on that leg is he's still not 100% comfortable. But, I mean, as you saw him barrel into the end zone just a few minutes ago, like, you can tell that he's getting more and more comfortable. Pretty soon he'll be at 100%. And I think it was a good step along the way to show that, hey, you know, I can still sling this thing, and, you know, I think it's going to be a good rest of the season for him.
Clearly, he didn't have to be perfect. I don't know if we have this highlight, but there was one play, we were in the red zone, of course, and which we stayed in all game because it's Falcons, and he rolled down and he just threw it up, and just as he was falling over, and somebody, CeeDee Lamb, ran up under it. So that was just that type of game for them.
To be fair, I don't know if the game would have been that different if Cooper Rush was at quarterback. I mean, they were playing the Falcons.
Yeah. But, Nicholas, do you think this game from Dak silences all of those injury talks that we've been talking about?
I think it should. It should be quieter. That's how silent it is. That's how silent the noise is. There is none. I think he'll be fine and everything. Unfortunately, the Chiefs chose to get right before they come see Dallas. So we'll have to see about that one.
Well, let's get into the Chiefs now because the Chiefs have been one of probably the most talked about team around the NFL all season. They had the slow 3-4 start, but now, like you said, finding their gear a little bit. They've won 3 straight, and they're back in first place in the AFC West. Now, coming into this game against Dallas, they're coming off probably the best game they've played all year last week in Vegas, the 41-14 blowout win over the Raiders. Now, Garrett, how scared are you of this current Chiefs roster?
I don't know if I'm scared of this roster, but, I mean, the thing is they're a championship team. Like, people say, oh, the Chiefs, are they back? Are they back? Well, they never left. I mean, it's the same Chiefs team that we've always known.
Don't call it a comeback.
Patrick Mahomes is still the same guy. They've come in and play sloppy, and, you know, and their defense has never been good, but this year they've probably been worse than ever just as far as their play. As you look at Patrick Mahomes slinging it deep. But I think, like, it's going to be, Mahomes has to play safer. Like, the whole, like, oh, no, look, I'm going to sling it 40 yards into double coverage. It's like that was working when you were hot, but it's like
you have to take a step back and say, okay, I'm not hot. Like, let's focus. Like, our defense is giving up way more points. Like, we can't afford those turnovers in the same way that if our defense was actually worth crap.
Well, they certainly seem to be red hot right now. So, Nicholas, how scary is it that the Cowboys have to go up to Arrowhead and play this red hot Chiefs team, playing like we know the Chiefs to play now?
I'm actually more scared of the stadium than the Chiefs. I mean, like you said, he was slinging the deep and everything, but on that same play, it was to Darrell Williams, I believe. Darrell Williams made that play. He didn't. Sure. Patrick Mahomes just kind of threw that thing because it was that type of day for him. But they don't have. This is another week. Like I said last week against the Falcons, this is another week against a team without any sort of a rushing game, which is why teams get comfortable against them and feel like they can just stand back and they don't have to worry about stacking the box or anything against them because they haven't had a 100-yard rusher since CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, great player, terrible acronym. He had a 100-yard game in week 4 or whatever. The same week I required him in fantasy and lost him to injury, and they haven't been the same since. Bad on me, bad on them.
So Chiefs scored 41 points last week. Cowboys only allowed 3. Garrett, real quick, keys to the game. How can they slow down this Chiefs team?
Stop Kelsey and you stop Tyreek Hill. Force the Chiefs to run the ball as much as you can, but stop those 2 playmakers and force guys like Darrell Williams, Byron Pringle, Mecole Hardman. Force those guys to step up and beat you.
Well, Cowboys and Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday at 3:25. Coming up next, we'll fast forward through the rest of the NFL season and give you some playoff and Super Bowl predictions. Stay with us for more. Thanks for sticking with us here on Sports Zone. I'm your host, Justin Ballou. Well, since tonight is our final episode of the season, it's time to have some fun. Let's predict the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Joining me to do so are analysts Anthony Council and Brandon Brown. Now, Anthony, let's start with you. Give me your AFC playoff picture and kind of take us through what you got for us.
Cool. So the AFC, I have the Bills, Titans, Chiefs, Baltimore, Patriots, Pittsburgh, and the Colts. Obviously, the Bills are the number 1 because they have the most stacked team offensively, defensively. To the Titans, I mean, you got to put them there. I mean, they might go all the way because, you don't have Derrick Henry, so who knows. But ultimately, to win the AFC, I have the Patriots because you can't sleep on Bill Belichick. Not like my partner over here who's not taking the Patriots, but,
Well, interesting pick with the Pats there. We'll get to the Super Bowl in a minute. But, Brandon, let's go through your AFC. What do you got?
Yeah, right now I've got the Titans at number 1. They've got a really easy schedule coming up. They're definitely going to be able to take that number 1 spot with ease. Number 2, we've got the most complete team in the AFC. We've got the Bills. Number 3 is a little bit of a wild card, a little hot take. I got the Bengals winning that division. I feel like they have a little bit of a easier schedule than the Ravens, and I think they're definitely going to win more divisional games than they are, so they're going to take that spot. Number 4, Chiefs, no surprise there. Number 5, Ravens, established themselves as the best wild card playoff team. And number 6, I do have the Patriots. They've been on fire lately. They're definitely going to make some moves in the playoffs. And number 7, you got to go with the Chargers because we all love Justin Herbert, and as long as he's in your game, you're never quite out.
So both of you guys seem to be high on the AFC East. Both of you guys have the Bills and the Patriots. You picked them obviously for the Super Bowl, Anthony. Why do you guys like the AFC East so much? What do you see in that division?
Well, I mean, the Bills, like I said, in my opinion, are the most complete AFC team. I really think that this is their year to take it all the way and make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they were really close last year. I think this is the year they finally get over that hurdle. They make it to the Super Bowl, and they finally bring a Lombardi to their franchise.
Well, here's a question. Since you both have the Bills winning the AFC East, but the Patriots still making the playoffs, do you see New England competing for that division title at all?
Absolutely. I mean, you have Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been throwing 2,333 yards. I mean, you have a running back at Damian Harris running for 7 touchdowns already, 4.1 yards per carry. And I mean, that defense is strong for the Patriots. I mean, there's no stopping the Patriots right now. Bill Belichick hasn't missed missed the playoffs. He's been there more times, and he's only missed 4 times in the playoffs.
You would take the Patriots defense over like the Bills defense.
Well, Josh Allen beat Josh Allen, didn't he?
Josh Allen did
Against
beat Josh
the
Allen.
Jags.
Look, we all
Ooh.
have our flubs. We all have our games, but like the Bills, man, they've just got every piece they need on both sides of the ball. That's why I love them so much and I'm so high on them.
Now, Anthony, you had the Steelers and Colts down there in your wild card. What do you like about those two teams?
People may think that's kind of crazy, but the reason why I have Pittsburgh is because Najee Harris. Najee Harris has been an amazing rookie. I mean, he's been running the ball very well. And yes, Big Ben is old, but I mean, you just got to trust him. Give him a chance this year, please, because you just never know with Pittsburgh.
So now let's look at your NFC playoff picture, Anthony. What do you have here for us?
Well, the NFC, I have the Packers, Cardinals, Cowboys, Rams, Bucks, Saints, and the Panthers. The Cowboys, yes, America's team, obviously. I mean, there's no stopping the Cowboys. I mean, the Packers obviously have that bad man and Aaron Rodgers. The Cardinals, you have, you have an amazing team. You have that amazing quarterback. And, I mean, the Rams, that defense is amazing, but it could be tricky because they don't have all the pieces together.
What do you see, Brandon?
I think you're crazy to put the Panthers at the number 7 spot, but I guess that's the difference between you and I. Do you trust the Cam hype? You trust the Panthers to kind of come back?
Hey, Superman.
I don't.
Superman.
I have to go with the safer bet, and people might call me crazy for this. I have the Eagles winning that 7 spot because they've got the second-ranked most easiest schedule thus coming up. They go against Washington football team and New York Giants twice, and the only real game they have to worry about is that Week 17 game against Dallas. I think they're definitely going to be in contention for that playoff spot, even though I don't think they'll go anywhere. From then, I got Packers at 1, obvious, Cardinals, Cowboys. Those are kind of the more obvious ones. I think the Saints, even though they have their hurdles, are going to make a playoff spot at number 6. And the Rams, you can't not have them in the Super Bowl, or the playoffs, sorry, even though I feel like they've been a little figured out lately.
So lots of consensus here at the top of the NFC for you guys. Packers, Cardinals, Cowboys, both of your top 3 seeds.
Right.
Why those 3 teams and why that order?
I mean, you've seen how Aaron Rodgers has played. I mean, when he's in the game, you're always in. Cardinals, in my opinion, have been playing like there's just something else about them. They're very magical this season. I feel like they've kind of got like this run going on, and I really like what I'm seeing. Cowboys, possibly the most complete team in the NFC right now. They're playing like fire. And for Buccaneers at number 4, I mean, Tom Brady, you're always in it as long as he's in that game.
So now, the moment we've been waiting for. Give me your Super Bowl predictions. You already spoiled yours a little bit, Anthony, but
I mean,
give
hey.
us the rest of it.
So, obviously, for the Super Bowl, I mean, you have the Patriots against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to win this game. I'm going at least 20-17 because, I mean, you have an amazing defense in Diggs, Parsons, and Gregory. I mean, the Cowboys are fully complete. I mean, you have the best passing rating and 118.2 passing yards for Dak Prescott. I mean, there's no stopping the Cowboys. I mean, they've been on a roll for the whole entire season, and I just think that they're going to win the whole thing. It's their year.
How more patriotic can you get than a Cowboys-Patriots Super Bowl in L.A. at the end of the season?
Yeah.
Wouldn't get better than that. Brandon, who you got in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to go with the Patriots' rival, the Buffalo Bills, besting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to be a close game. Both teams are going to play well on both sides of the ball, but I think the Bills are going to beat Tampa Bay 20-17, and it's going to be the first Lombardi that they finally bring back to Buffalo after decades of failure and that 4-year-in-a-row Super Bowl catastrophe. in the
Now,
90s.
any sleeper teams in that playoff mix that you see maybe can make a run?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean,
Eagles, Panthers, how about that? Either of those two teams, because those were both of your 7 seeds in the NFC.
For sure.
I
for
mean,
sure. I mean,
look.
for a sleeper team, I'm going Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar Jackson, that's a bad man. I mean, yes, he runs the ball a lot, but I think that he could beat the Chiefs. This could be the year that he finally beats Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, Baltimore's my sleeper team. Offense, defense, and special teams, because that kicker is good.
Well, the NFL season is quickly flying by, and we have had a blast talking all things Cowboys and NFL this season here on Sports Zone. But coming up next in our final segment of the season, we put UNT students' knowledge to the test about Mean Green sports. Let's find out how much they know after the break. Welcome back into Sports Zone. Well, we always have a blast talking all things Mean Green sports here on Sports Zone. But believe it or not, there are a lot of UNT students that are not as tuned into the sports teams as we are here at NTTV. We sent our analyst Nicholas Ogele out to the UNT campus streets to test other students' knowledge about Mean Green sports. Let's find out how much they know.
Your very own North Texas Television. We're out on the beautiful UNT campus. A lot of people are UNT fans, but we want to know who the real sports fans are. Follow me, let's go. Hi guys, we're here with
Elisha Johnson.
Elijah. Do you keep up with, you say you don't keep up with sports, do you?
No, I do not. I'm not a big fan of sports. I do watch AEW though.
AEW, okay. Do you know that UNT has a football team?
I don't know anything about football.
Okay. Well, if you had to, do you know Latrell? Do you know what he is? Who is he?
I have no clue.
Coach Latrell.
Who?
I got $1 for who can guess the name of UNT's football coach.
Oh, that's easy. Seth Luttrell.
Seth Luttrell. We have a winner.
Seth Luttrell.
Woo!
No, I do not know.
My best guess would be like, what is that guy's name? Neil?
Neil
Armstrong?
Neil Armstrong?
Oh. I can't, no.
You had it.
No, I can't.
Oh,
Steven.
I was about to say that.
Steven, you went to the homecoming game, is that right?
Right, yeah, I went to the football game on Saturday.
Okay, so a couple questions here for both of you. Name me one player on the UNT football team. Throw out some names, anything.
Just like a first names? Or like, do you have to say their full name?
We prefer full names. If you can name our quarterback, first name only, if that's all you can get.
Oh my god, does it start with a D or a J?
Think of names that start with an A.
Is it Aaron? I said Andrew.
What? Alex?
Alex.
But if you can name me the starting quarterback on the UNT football team, you get $1. Starts with an A. Y'all can help him out. I can help. Come up with some A names. I want y'all to think of a common A name. Alex is what we saying?
Yeah.
We'll go with that. UNT basketball played a game yesterday. They played against Buffalo. Our very own Tyler Perry played very well. What do you think about him saying he's gonna channel his inner Medea for the rest of the season?
Does he know about like the real Tyler Perry? Like, wait, is this the real Tyler Perry?
This is the only Tyler Perry I know.
Good.
What's
for
your
him.
opinion?
Good for him. I don't know anything about it. Yeah.
Do you think that's a strategy that'll work?
I hope so for our sake. Yeah, I hope so.
Tyler Perry on the team is, he said he's gonna channel his inner Medea for the rest of the season. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that'll definitely work. Medea savage.
What does that mean to you, channeling your inner Medea?
That mean you a savage.
How do you feel about Tyler Perry saying he's going to get his inner Medea on for the rest of the season? Yeah, what does channeling your inner Medea mean to you?
Being a menace to society, a menace to the court, having no regards for human life.
That means being aggressive. Yeah. That means Medea's an aggressive character.
Do it again. Do it again. Hey.
Be careful!
Hey guys, Nick again. I think we need to work on our fans a little bit more. I think we need a little more school spirit around here, but I think we'll work on it in the future. Back to you at the desk, Justin.
Well, great stuff out of our analyst Nicholas Ogele there. I think in that whole segment we had maybe one or two right answers there. Pretty sad. Joining me now to discuss this are Chris Adams and Andres Zayas. Guys, how surprised are we by the results of this?
I mean, I'm not really too surprised with the Latrell question. He's kind of like on his way out anyways, so, I mean, do we really need to know?
That was probably like the one question they got right. He's been here the longest, so that makes some sense. I'm not too surprised, honestly. I mean, like, sports aren't the biggest thing here, so hopefully they can get a little bigger here.
Right, but how rock bottom have we hit if someone thinks our head coach is Neil Armstrong? I mean, that was pretty sad, wasn't it?
That was an interesting response. I gotta say, I mean, I really like the Medea question right there. You know, Tyler Perry he's kind of a dog himself, so, you know, it's kind of a good way of epitomizing, you know, the kind of guy he is. You know, the aggressive menace to society, no regard to human life. So,
well, the students seem to be confused about the Mean Green sports questions, but certainly knew stuff about Tyler Perry. Chris, what does this say about UNT?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know how many of those people have seen Medea, because I'm gonna be honest. I saw the second Halloween one. I did not find it funny, so hopefully it says decent things about him, though.
Well, he was out on the street. Nicholas was out on the street giving people dollars to name our quarterback. Couldn't even come up with the name Austin. He was offering up the A. Was that pretty sad or?
A little bit.
That's a pretty common name.
But then again, I mean, we were kind of having a little bit of a quarterback carousel this whole year.
It's been like a revolving door since Mason Fine left.
So it's just kind of like, I mean, it's a little hard for fans to kind of keep up with all that, you know. So,
well, certainly a fun way to end our season here of Sports Zone. That's all for us this season of Sports Zone. We'll be back in January, but for now, stay tuned for NTTV News and make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at NTTV_sports.